Welcome to Scone, Bake and Beyond. Hi, I'm Kathy, and I enjoy making scones, muffins, cookies, and all sorts of delicious baked goodies. I have these really ripe bananas. So today, I'm going to share with you my recipe for banana-filled banana scones. Besides having banana in the scone dough, I bake the scones filled with a sliced banana. If you like bananas, banana bread, banana muffins, you're going to love these scones. So, let's bake. The first thing we want to do is we want to grate our butter. I have 1/2 cup of butter. This is just regular butter, and I'm going to grate it. The reason why I grate the butter is that before the butter melts, it's going to create some steam, and that steam creates some wonderful layers in your scones. So we're going to grate the butter, and then we're going to put this butter up in the freezer to keep it as cold as I can for as long as I can. There we go. It's all grated. Get it all on my wax paper here. So I'm going to put this up in the freezer for 15 minutes. So I have a 1 cup measuring cup, and to that I'm going to add one of my really ripe bananas. And you can tell the skin is just really thin, and oh, it smells so good. I'm going to put that in my 1 cup measuring cup. Now this is 1 large banana, but whatever size banana, it doesn't really matter at this point. I'm going to put all that in there, and I'm going to take a fork and I'm just going to smash it up. My potato masher or banana masher is a little too big for my measuring cup, so I'm just going to use this fork here. I'm going to mash up this banana. When bananas are really ripe, they mash up really quick and easy. I'm just going to get this all nice and mashed up. Now I'm going to add enough buttermilk here. It's about 1/2 cup, but it could be a little bit more, could be a little bit less, to make 1 cup of banana buttermilk mixture. And actually, that only took about 1/4 cup because this large banana is quite a bit. It's more than 1/2 cup. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my fork and I'm just going to mix it all up and blend it all together. Okay, now that it's all mixed together, I'm going to put it in the refrigerator and keep it chilled until it's time to put into the dough itself. Now it's time to get our dry ingredients together. In my mixing bowl here, I have 2 cups of unbleached flour. To that, I'm going to add 1/4 cup of whole wheat pastry flour. I like adding a little whole wheat flour to all my baked goods, and I use whole wheat pastry flour because it's lighter in texture. I'm going to add 1/2 cup of sugar, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda, 1 teaspoon of salt. To give these scones a little warm flavor, I'm adding 1 teaspoon of cinnamon and 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg. I'm going to whisk this all together. And now it's time to add our frozen butter. And because I grated this butter, all I need to do is just mix it up and make sure all the butter is covered with some of the flour mixture. So now I'm going to take this buttermilk banana mixture and I'm going to pour that in. And now we're going to mix it all up. It'll look like it's never going to come together, but that buttermilk banana mixture will hydrate the flour. It just might take it about a minute or so to get it all hydrated. So it's almost mixed up and it's getting pretty hydrated. So what I do is I kind of take a little bit of a folding method to get all the dry bits off the bottom, because you're going to find your spatula's got a bunch of dough on it. So, but I don't want to overwork this dough because otherwise it's going to get tough. So that looks pretty good. I'm still going to have a few little dry bits at the bottom, and that's okay. So I'm going to flour my board here. And it's amazing how I didn't add any more liquid, and if you first saw me mixing it up, it was pretty dry. But give it a couple minutes because that banana buttermilk mixture will hydrate that flour. And there's very few little dry bits at the bottom. So we're going to turn this out onto our board here. Now we're going to take a technique from making croissants. We're going to take this dough, we're going to pat it out into a square. Get my rolling pin here, put a little flour on it. And we're going to roll this out into a 12-inch by 12-inch square. I'm going to roll it give it a turn. And we're going to keep this up until we get a 12-inch by 12-inch square. Okay, let's see if it's 12 inches by 12 inches. Yeah, there it is. And you can see all this wonderful butter in there. It's going to make wonderful scones. So what we're going to do is we're going to, again, continue this croissant method. And we're going to fold it in thirds this way, and then fold this third right over there in the middle. I'm going to fold 1/3 that way, and 1/3 back this way. I have a board here. I'm going to add a little flour to it. We're going to put our dough right on this board because I'm starting to handle this butter, or this dough, and the butter is starting to come up to room temperature. And again, I want to keep it cold. I'm going to put this in the freezer for 5 minutes to chill down that butter. Okay, it's been 5 minutes. Put our dough down. We're going to cut this in half and just kind of eyeball it. There, we're going to put 1/2 aside, and we're going to take our baking sheet. I have a parchment lined baking sheet. I'm going to take 1 piece of dough, and I'm just going to put it right on there, and I'm just going to pat it out into a 7-inch circle. Okay, let's see if it is. Yep, 7 inches that way and 7 inches that way. So now we're going to fill it up with some bananas. So here's my second banana here. I'm going to take the skin off. I'm trying not to break the banana. That's the hard part when it's really ripe, is not breaking it. So we're going to slice this banana, and I'm going to take the slices and we're going to put them around real close to the edge, about a 1/4 inch away from the edge. So we'll just keep on slicing this, and then we'll arrange the slices. There we go. There's the last one, and it's okay if they kind of overlap a little bit, and just get them out to the edge as much as you can. We're going to add 2 tablespoons of brown sugar, and we're just going to sprinkle this right over the bananas. And this will caramelize up the bananas a little bit inside your scones. I also have some salted caramel sauce. Now this is my homemade salted caramel sauce, and for the recipe there is a link below down in the description box. And all I'm going to do is take the salted caramel sauce and drizzle it over. How much? I couldn't tell you, just what looks good. And I just drizzle it back and forth that way, and drizzle it back and forth that way. If I think I missed anything, I just add a little bit more. So now we're going to set this aside. We're going to take our other dough. We're going to flour our board a little bit. And now we're going to pat this out into about a 7.5 inch circle. And see how that looks. That looks great. Over 7.5 inches. My scraper here has inches marked on it, and it is 6 inches wide. That's how I know how far 7.5 inches is. So we're going to take our, we're going to take this and move it off to the side. Now we'll bring our board over, our baking sheet over here. There we go. And now very carefully, you're going to take that and plop it right on top. And you want to seal all the edges. So you might need a little bit of flour on your fingers. But you want to seal all these edges all the way around so the banana and everything stays inside. Okay, that's all sealed up. Now again, we want to keep this butter cold, so I'm going to put this dough, this big large scone, in the freezer for 5 minutes. Okay, it's been 5 minutes, so now we're going to cut this into scones. So we're going to cut it into 8 pieces. So right across the middle here, and I just use my scraper. And it's kind of like cutting a pizza into 8 pieces. So now we're going to take our 8 pieces, and it's kind of stick in the bottom. There we go. Just kind of separate it out so they're about 1 inch apart. I'm going to take each piece and separate it out. Okay, I've separated them. They're about 1 inch apart. So I have 1 egg in here, and I'm just going to whisk it up. Just kind of beat it up. You can use a little baby whisk or just a fork. We're going to give each one of these scones an egg wash. Makes them that nice, wonderful golden brown. And now we're going to add just a little bit of turbinado sugar. Actually, we're going to add quite a bit of turbinado sugar on top, and this will give all these scones this wonderful crunch. So we're going to be generous with the turbinado sugar. There, that looks good. I preheated my oven to 400 degrees. We're going to bake these for 18 to 20 minutes. Okay, it's been 20 minutes and oh, they're wonderful, golden brown and delicious, and they smell wonderful. So the first thing I want to do is I want to take these scones off the baking sheet. So I just take the parchment paper and just slide them right off, because I don't want the bottoms of these scones to cook any more than they have. I don't want to over bake the bottom of the scones. I'm going to let these cool completely, and then we're going to put a salted caramel drizzle on top. So our scones have cooled down completely, so now it's time to make that salted caramel drizzle. So in my bowl here, I have 1 cup of sifted powdered sugar, and to that I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of my salted caramel sauce and 1 tablespoon of buttermilk. You can either use milk, buttermilk, cream, whatever you have, and since I had some buttermilk left over from the scones, I'm just going to use that. There we go. Now you may need a little bit more buttermilk. We'll see. We're going to whisk this together. So we're going to whisk this until we get all the lumps out. And at first it's going to look like, oh, it's way too much powdered sugar, but keep on whisking. And what we're looking for is to kind of flow off like that. We don't want it too runny, but we don't want it so thick it doesn't flow off either. So that looks actually perfect. So now I have this Ziploc baggie, and that's what we're going to use to put our drizzle on. And I'm just going to fold it back because I usually make a mess when I make this. So I fold it back, and that way I kind of make this little bag there. And in case it gets over the edges a little bit, I don't make a really big mess. So just take my spatula, and then we're going to pour that in. There we go. So we got that in there. Take our baggie and get as much air out as you can. And then we're going to seal it up. And then we're going to cut a hole, and the hole will be about 1/8 of an inch. It isn't much. And you might need to adjust it. Just start smaller than what you think you need, and if you need to make it bigger, it's easier to make the hole bigger than it is to make it smaller. So I just cut off a little corner here, and I try to cut off about 1/8 of an inch. And we'll see if we get it right. So we'll get all this down to that little hole, and I just drizzle it on. Just like that. There we go. There's the last one. So now we get to try one. I'm going to take this one right here. You have all the bananas in there. You can see the banana filling. You can see them on the other side. The drizzle on top. This is going to taste so good. So finally, we get to take a bite. You taste the banana filling, and there's the banana flavor with that cinnamon and nutmeg in the dough itself, in the scone itself. And then that crunchy top, and then that caramel drizzle. These are so good. Again, if you like bananas, banana bread, banana muffins, you're going to love these banana scones. For the complete recipe, please go to my website, sconebaking.com, and there is a link below. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and please subscribe for future videos. I hope this recipe inspires you to bake. Thank you for watching.